Coming away from Dublin, yes, they had a couple of chances, good chances, but overall we were the better side, had more chances. 2-0, they're looking at it thinking this mob's not being beaten for 17, is it 16, 17? Not conceded 3 goals for a hell of a long time, touch wood. You know, they must be on the back foot. They must have negative thoughts in their head. So I think if you want to use the stats, we can use them very positively in our favour. But those stats are only there because we've worked damn hard and we've grafted for each other and played well. And you know, the qualification's there. It's there. We can all see it. But it's got to be grabbed. It won't fall into our lap. It's got to be grabbed, both hands. I'd like to think we've got the players to do that tonight.
David, you've played in 1 or 2 of these important qualifiers for the Republic over the years. It means a bit, this one, doesn't it?
It does. I've played in this stadium, and it's, you know, we've heard about the crowds, fantastic atmosphere, and it's going to be very important, I think, the first 20 minutes. They've given themselves a good base. You'd like to score more goals, but they haven't conceded any, and they're going there, they're positive, they've got a great family atmosphere, they all work hard for each other, and it'll be very important that Staunton and Breen, I think, particularly in the first 20 minutes, that they get a grip of their forwards, really.
A lot of speculation how they're going to play. I mean, do you protect a 2-0 lead, or do you take the attitude if Ireland get 1, then they've got to score 4? I think it's somewhere in between. I think that you get men behind the ball. As he says, the first 20 minutes, the crowd will be volatile. If you don't give them anything at all, no impetus whatsoever, then it might be the crowd will be quiet, and that's what Ireland would want. But I think they've got to be patient but positive.
What's your gut feeling, Mark?
I think, you know, in the past, Gary, when we've been in this position and we've gone away and tried to defend a lead, we can't do it. We don't have those players, and in those games we've never carried a goal threat. I think you'll find today with the team that Mick picks, we'll play 2 up front, and because a goal, they need to score 4 then, Iran, to win the tie. So that's the important thing.
They've got themselves in a great position. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the group they've come through,
oh, it's unbelievable.
It's unthinkable that they can go.
It's a strange position for players, because in similar to the way I faced at Deportivo last year, and you go there and you're sitting on a lead, and you don't know that. We wanted to go out and score another goal, but in the end, you sit back.
No, well, that's right. People say you should think as though it's 0-0, but that's impossible.
Yeah,
it's
impossible.
And they'll miss Roy Keane, there's no doubt about that.
They'll miss for his runs forward and the protection in front of the back 4. But you've just got to go on with it. You know, Matt Holland's played before, Kinsella's played before, they're big-time players. They'll work hard in the middle of the park. Obviously, they're going to miss Roy Keane, but as I said before, they've got themselves in a great position here. They're going into the match 2-0 up. Given made 2 crucial saves in Dublin at the weekend, because if one of these goes in, then it's a completely different ball game. This is speed off his line and great anticipation, no room for error whatsoever, and he makes a great save.
I think the thing about that, Gary, is that all the players, when they've been called upon throughout the qualification, have all risen to the occasion, and you know, this particular occasion it was given. And that's probably the sum of the side at the moment, is that, you know,
not a vital side.
Well, the thing is about them, David, is that the actual team itself are better than the individuals. There's no doubt about it, and they don't have to change today.
And it was a good. The point you made, Mark. Roy Keane is missing all through this group, and it's been a tough group, unbelievable group for them to come through.
Right.
That they've had vital players missing for vital games, but whoever's come in has done the job, and I'm sure Mick feels that today it'll be the same way. They'll obviously, love to have Roy Keane, but they haven't, and we've got to get on with it.
If you look at the players they've got, to be honest, there's not a great deal of quality there. But all the way through this group, there's been team spirit, it's been the effort and the commitment and the togetherness, and they've got to be together today.
Alan, I know you spend hours trawling through these videos, and
always do.
He does, and he's occasionally.
Right.
And but you spotted one of your dodgy goalkeepers.
Favourite.
Mirzapour, the Iran keeper,
he was
looks
poor.
A little bit weak.
No doubt about that. No, I mean, you just love to see this when you're playing against these teams. That the keeper comes in flaps. He comes a long way here, doesn't get anywhere near the ball, makes a bit of contact, punches, and you just love to play against that. This time he comes all over the place, misses. And what you've got to do is get the ball in and about his head, and with a bit of pace in it. Again, he comes and misses there. And that, to me, if you were playing in front of that, right away you'd struggle. And it must give the Irish confidence that he's in goals again.
Even more reason to play with 2 up front and carry a goal threat. That is, today. Because if you don't, if you just play with 1, full-backs come in and join in, and straight away you're under the cosh.
You're inviting pressure. And,
Yeah.
Well, there's
They're
a,
2-0 in front. It's a great lead to be going in.
it's a pretty good lead, and it's a pretty good stadium by the looks of it, and a fantastic atmosphere. Let's join our match commentator out there in Tehran, Barry Davis.
Yes, welcome to the capital city of Iran. As you can see, the players just about to make their way from the tunnel into the arena. And the atmosphere is something else. It's not, in fact, packed in the Azadi Stadium, but the majority have been here since before noon. And the Irish players were greeted in their warm-up, and during their practice, when there were no lights on, incidentally, which wasn't madly helpful, they were greeted again. Up till now, everything has been very friendly, but there were a few things hurled at the group of Irish supporters down in front of us just about 10 minutes or so ago. Irish supporters who incidentally include women, so history is being made here, the first time that women have been allowed to come into this stadium since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And also among the women who made the trip are 2 journalists and 1 photographer. She did have initially a bit of a bother trying to get to her position, but I understand she's been allowed in. Steve Staunton leading the Irish 11 in the absence of Roy Keane. His 94th cap, the most capped player in Irish football history. Before the national anthems, there will be a pause for some readings from the Quran. This, to give it its official name, is the Islamic Republic of Iran. 98% of the people here are of the Muslim faith. And 91% from the Shia sect. The officials for the match come from Costa Rica. And a little bit of a haze would appear to have enveloped the stadium, but it's because we've had a few firecrackers as well. Quite noisy, and one landed on the corner of the pitch. But the welcome the players have been given has been extremely friendly from the public. But as Mick McCarthy was prepared to say yesterday, he understood how the Iranian supporters felt. He understood too how the Irish supporters felt. So the moment of prayer for the host nation. But I imagine that the Irish too had their thoughts and their prayers. The outcome of a vital qualifier in which the Irish definitely have the advantage. Wait now the national anthems. Didn't see it, but the tricolour was well waved. Photographer with the close-up of Mick McCarthy. They'll make a lot of noise, the Irish. They're outnumbered. By heck, they're outnumbered, but they'll make their presence felt. Now the anthem of Iran. Now the flag of Iran, an Islamic emblem of 4 crescents and the sword, dates back to 1980, the year after the revolution. The revolution itself in February, and then officially the Republic in the April. And they go tonight with the same starting 11 as on Saturday, with 5 players of experience of playing in Europe, although with varying degrees of success. We're looking in particular to Ali Daei and Ali Karimi, with support from Mardavikia and Baghieri, but that support might well be exploited by the Irish team on the counter-attack. As for Ireland, 2 changes compared with Saturday, both forced by injury. Charlton's Mark Kinsella replaces Roy Keane, and David Connolly of Wimbledon is the partner for Robbie Keane up front. Niall Quinn, though, is on the bench. The back will survive if needs must. And Mick McCarthy sticks to his 4-4-2 with McAteer and Kilban, the wide men. I think it's fair to say they've got a better pitch to play on tonight than they had on Saturday, although the grass is a little bit longer than I would have thought both teams would like. The officials from Costa Rica, the referee William Matius Vega. Ireland beaten at the playoff stage of the last 3 major championships. That was Miroslav Blagovic that we were looking at, for whom, incidentally, this is 100th international. As I was saying, the Irish beaten in the last 3 major championships at the playoff stage. But while statistics don't win games, they certainly boost confidence. And recent statistics of the Irish side, 16 competitive matches unbeaten. They've scored in all of them. They've scored, in fact, in 17. They haven't been beaten away for 11 matches back to September the 4th, 1999. That's 26 matches ago. Only once has the opposition managed to score 3 times against Mick McCarthy's side. So in spite of the fact that there's a huge banner away to our left which says 3-0, and the morning papers in Tehran all carried that caption, the odds are in favour of the men of green. And they attack the goal to our right. The irony is that the last time that they were beaten, the man in charge was Miroslav Blažević, because they lost to Croatia. That defeat back in September 99. The applause just for the throw-in, which will be taken by the man who gave away the penalty on Saturday, Rezai. free kick for the challenge. Connolly wearing the number 9. Not staying with the squad numbers. Ian Hart with the left, or Jason McAteer with the right. I think the odds will be on the Leeds player. One or two things being thrown on the pitch. In fact, it's McAteer, whose cross led to Robbie Keane's goal in Dublin. Field of the ball for Shay Given. Of course, for some time, goalkeepers in that position haven't been able to pick it up. And the field of the ball with his foot also for Ibrahim Mirzapur of Foulad. In spite of his histrionics in Dublin, he's kept 6 clean sheets in 10 qualifying matches. So he's been doing something right. Finnan. But his pass not anticipated. It was a rather muggy evening after a really delightful sunny day. Mirzapur never takes his goal kicks for some reason. This is Keane. Connolly in the box. Good to see the Irish carrying the attack to the opposition. 16 is a bit of a favourite number with them statistically. You've got to go back 16 years to find a time when a team scored 4 against them. Lovely turn. Needed the interception. Completed with difficulty, but then a nice turn on the ball by Golmo Hamadi. First ball looking for Ali Daei, and it really stretched Breen. Nice little back heel too. Trying to find a bit of space, the final ball in, and great disappointment for Iran. They had opportunities then, the Irish were twisting and turning. Nobody seemed to want to take the responsibility in the Iranian team. It's a good block on the edge of the box, referee close to the play. Aguirre with the jump. Here is the briefly Charlton player, scored in both matches of the Asian playoff against the United Arab Emirates. It's Mardovikia, scored against the United States in the World Cup of '98 and reached hero status, which will probably last for the whole of his life as a result. First win ever in the World Cup finals match. Nicely round the back, but it was taken out. Another opportunity to create something by Iran. Mardovikia couldn't keep it in. Plays his football for Hamburg. Shay Given, one of Saturday's heroes, man of the match there. Said something about the game. This is Keane, probably a contender for the title. Hard to take. In no hurry. It's the home side who have to chase the game. That's a corner. First of the contest goes to the Republic of Ireland. Half as ever will take. Connolly the nearest to the goal line. He and Keane both in the 6-yard area. Dropped a bit too short. Too difficult the opportunity to try again. Intention was right. Mirzapur once again leaving it to Rahman Rezai, plays for Perugia. Italian League Eagles. Good running. Keane again. But the cross far too close to Mirzapur and produces a few whistles for its lack of quality. Gol Mohammadi. Peravani. Staunton tight to Ali Dai and caught his left ankle, I suspect. Referee just has a check, but didn't have a word with Staunton. That was a challenge from behind there that brings the free kick. Keane furthest forward, now to be joined by Connolly. McAteer moving forward on the right. Got a lot of work to do down the left first. Hart. Draws one man out. It's Peravani. Good turn by Keane, but not quite the accuracy of the pass. It was too straight for the run of McAteer. But even so, promising, confident opening by Ireland, and no suggestion that they would attempt to sit on the 2-goal advantage from the first leg, and surely rightly so. Off the back of Keane, nicely worked down the right side. McAteer. It's a disappointing finish. Virtually playing 3 up. Iran. With Vahed Dinikat Bart, the player on the left side, known in fact as Nick Bart. Even the Iranians find it a difficult name to pronounce. Useful ball by Bagheri, picks up a bit of pace as it landed though. Doesn't like to sweep the ball around though. Bit of extra determination then, and the ball in Ireland's favour. Crowd not as noisy as anticipated. We've only had the whistles for Irish mistakes. Hart. Connolly. Wimbledon man brushed off the ball unfairly. Well, in fact, it was Hart who was brushed off the ball unfairly. Not too much doubt about it from Gol Mohammadi. McAteer's cross. No problems for Mirzapur. Captain organising the back line, but he didn't climb for the ball. Steve Staunton. Came off the elbow use. Minavand. Got in behind, Connolly, nice check out. And it goes, it's a corner, but it wouldn't go. And still hasn't gone. The referee spotted some infringement there, but I don't know what it was. It's Miroslav Blažević, long-time coach of Croatia, hugely successful, getting them into the semi-finals and then 3rd place in the World Cup in France in '98. Been here since the turn of 2001. Gilban coming down his side. Keane made sure that an early door was closed. Dahi trying to get away, and has found a little bit of space on a wide angle, though not too much support now too coming at the back, and he went for the shot on the wide angle. But he did get 2 or 3 yards wide and a little behind his marker then. Sufficiently wide for there not to be a problem in the end. No dive in and shot wide. Not all the drumming is coming from the home supporters. There are a couple of Irish drummers as well. Good advantage play by the referee. Zahi forward to Minavand, again looking for the captain. Dahi. Offside. And 3 players forward. Dahi covering a lot of ground, comes short, goes away again on the right. Nick Batt is down the middle, and Karimi hasn't seen too much of the ball yet on his left. Zahi to Baghieri. Looking for the flag, and they've got it. Offside. A little stretched and not much in it, but it was offside. To bring Mick McCarthy off his seat for the first time. It's been both cool and philosophical, but also geeing his players up, I'm sure. They can't have needed to do that too much. Such a great surprise if this should prove a stopover in the Middle East on the way to the Far East come next summer. Slow ball from the back. Baghieri, usually the provider of the longer pass. So far the cover's been very good for the Irish. This is Kilban. Trying to run his man, and is unceremonially brought down. Just a couple of bookings, both against Iranians in Dublin. They're incidentally playing their 14th match in this World Cup qualifying tournament. It's Ireland's 12th. Leeds is Mr. Hart. Long and at the back, and a good nod across the box. But straight into the arms, the eventual header from Mark Kinsella. Gary Breen who nodded it back. Bit more pace in this attack. A dreadful ball. Hasn't had much to feed on, Karimi. First quarter of an hour has come and gone, and no alarm at all at the Irish end. Good strong tackle by Connolly. Staunton. Breen. Steve Staunton, or Stan as everybody calls him in the Irish camp. Could make all the difference as to whether he becomes the first Irishman to win 100 caps if Mick McCarthy's side go on from here. So 23 seconds past the 15-minute mark. Blank score sheet. McCarthy and all of Ireland would settle for that now. No concern if it's a good match to watch. This is about the result. Iran was wanting it down the left. Two went for the same ball, and a bit of pushing. Free kick to the Republic of Ireland. Steve Finnan of Fulham. Nick Bad. It's a good ball by Ali Daei. Karimi on the near post. The ball beats the man on the far. Wasted opportunity. Disappointing cross from Iran's point of view by Madavikia. To Shay Given clearly being in no hurry. Ravani comprehensively beaten. Yes. Was it kept in? It's a goal kick. Try by Connolly. Fairly lively. Irish were accused on Saturday of rather lumping the ball forward too often to the head of the mighty Quinn. But that hasn't been the case now in his absence, of course. Again, 3 up for Iran. Madavikia right side, won't get that. And he's showing his frustration. And I suspect it's mirrored in one or two of the faces around the stadium. It's a stadium which produced the biggest crowd in the last World Cup, 120,000 for the fixture against Saudi Arabia. But it was said it would be limited to 85 today, and it looks as though it has been. So it might well still qualify as the biggest. Just a beginning of a feeling in the crowd that are not happy with the way things are going. Ali Rezai put under pressure by Jason McAteer, got away from him with some style. Again, trying to seek out the right. Kilban, the first line of defence that side. Matt Holland working across from left to right, back again. Now has the central position. Nice little shimmy. The ball just plopped up, really. For Shay Given, he'll take those all night. Yeri being very generous. Ravani. Irishman behind the ball. Front line of 3 to attack it early, still in the opposition half. Now Holland backs away. Cover behind the man who went for the challenge then and who conceded the free kick, Steve Staunton. And Evans, McCarthy's number 2, doing the pointing. I think the Iranian captain made the most of that. It's opposite number organising the defence from this free kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Iranian players forward. Oh dear, the crowd won't like that, and you can hear it all around the place. Total misunderstanding, an impossible ball played through, unless they happen to have a hair playing it outside right. The Iranians had to play through 2 group stages, a 3-nation group of Tajikistan and Guam, and then finished second in the second group of 5 behind Saudi Arabia. Defeat in Bahrain, where they had 2 men sent off, was crucial because they had already beaten Saudi Arabia at home and got a draw in Jeddah. And as a result, they went into the Asian playoff, where they comfortably beat the United Arab Emirates. 1-0 at home, 3-0 away. Space perhaps on the left, but not that far forward, I don't think. No. Mehmed Minavand has been released by Sturm Graz, played against Manchester United in the Champions League last season. He's looking for a club, otherwise he's coming back to play for a team in Persepolis. McAteer, these days of Sunderland, nearly got the right ball in for Keane. Acrobatic clearance, but to nobody in particular. I'm not tempting fate, but frankly, Iran are looking a pretty ordinary side so far. Connolly for Ireland. He's talked about the pressure on the Republic of Ireland, but there's huge pressure on Iran as well. It's a favourite game of their public. Ah, spectacular catch. Will lift the crowd a bit by Mirzapur. Perhaps the best moment to put up a statistic, but we're not in control of those tonight. Made it look very good, but it was a good catch. Daib passed the 100 caps for his country during the second phase of the qualifying competition. Away match in Thailand. Make it 109 tonight. That is now for Hertha Berlin. Briefly with Bayern Munich, but didn't really cut mustard there. Ian Hart. Matt Holland, 2 who consistently do for their clubs. Connolly. Bit of space on the left side. Unfortunate slip by Keane. It's fair to say the other Keane certainly hasn't been missed so far. I'm sure he's watching at home, must feel pretty confident. This is Karimi, but the fact that he's come as deep as this is telling one of the stories of this first half. Crowd trying to lift the team, seeing a few more flags suddenly being waved. Ali Daei in possession, not a soul in the middle if the ball comes in. Now they've got Karimi further forward. He whistles because it went back to Kabianpour. Minavand. Across to Bagheri. Nick Batt looking poised for a run into the box with his arm aloft. Breen, slight worry on the bounce, but it was okay. Good challenge, not allowed by the referee. Foul by Kinsella. Seemed to me that Minovan simply turned into him. Kavianpour trying to set up Nick Batt. Good cover by Finnan. Typical industry from Robbie Keane. Well used too. McAteer. That's a foul on McAteer. What a stupid challenge. Never going to get the ball, Minovan. And just thumped into McAteer's back. He'll need some attention from Mick Byrne. I mean, where's the ball? What has that got to do with the challenge made by Minovan? Ball was about 5 or 6 yards behind him. Maybe they were right at Sturmgard's. McAteer has come off the pitch, and I don't think he's going to be allowed back until the free kick is taken. Well, I'm wrong. The referee has allowed him back. Usually if you go off retention, you've got to wait. Hart with the free kick. Staunton across. Mustn't change his mind and doesn't. Daei, good shoulder, but then he puts it out. Well, it actually came off the Irish foot for a corner, which is their first. Karimi will take it. One on the edge of the 6-yard box, 4 others either side of the 18-yard line. It's again a poor ball in. Minovan. It was out. Confirm what I said about the corners, one apiece. Shay Given, first in the Irish team back in March '96. 9th consecutive appearance here. We're making a habit of clean sheets. Good kick. The Republic of Ireland. Here again in the wars. Hart. Now it's Ireland with 3 out. McAteer joining the usual front two. Looking for Kilban, but not the greatest of passes. Ravani back to Gol Mohammadi, number 15. And this is Rezai. Gave away the penalty for his challenge on McAteer. At a time when the Irish were in some need of help from somewhere. Mardovici again gets the cross in earlier this time, and it's a better one. And off the head of Ali Daei. That's the first decent cross that they've found, and we're, on the half-an-hour point. Mardovici at that time hit it on the run, and it seemed to make all the difference. And the Iranian captain was up better than Finnan, the nearest player to him amongst the Irish. Warning to be noted, perhaps. McAteer, great little ball back to him. He's got 2 ahead of him, and Kilban out on the left. That's where it goes. Connolly down the middle. 14 forward, but the Iranians have pushed out. And now they look for the counter. Aguirre biding his time for some reason. No, Karimi rather biding his time for some reason. Kabiampour. Here's Karimi. Crowded out and wastes possession. Flag went up anyway. Given yet to be troubled. Incidentally, you may have noticed a slight discrepancy between the times on our clock at home and the clock being put up here. We certainly believe that our clock is the right one, but I suppose in the final analysis the right one is that which belongs to Mr. William Matus Vega of Costa Rica. There is incidentally a 3.5-hour difference in time between Iran and Great Britain, and indeed the Republic of Ireland. It's now 4 minutes past 6 local time, I make it. It's really been an interesting visit for the Irish contingent. A place of considerable contrast, a lot of friendly smiles. And yet if you walk by the British Embassy, you'll find that the road that goes down by the visa department is called Bobby Sands Street. And also the road to the Egyptian embassy is named after the man who assassinated President Anwar Sadat. Good claim, and then he lost it off the head. Shay Given. Seemed to have it completely. And it's brought Mr. Blažević to his feet. Minavand. Away by Steve Staunton. Hesitation. Ooh. And how close can you get? Shay Given started to come for it and then backed away. And just a couple of alarms for the Newcastle goalkeeper in the last couple of minutes. Karimi's head just wide of the far post. And a warning here for the Irish. It's the style of the Iranians, if you offer them a present, to refuse 3 times before accepting, when he had 2 chances in Dublin and he's had 1 here. Certainly the last couple of minutes have lifted the crowd and lifted the coach of Iran. Hart says to be taking his time. I'm sure his manager would approve. Both the one here and the one at home. Breen didn't quite get to Ali Daei, but just about worked. Finnan. McAteer poised for the run forward, had to come back and used his arm to control the ball. Aguirre. Kabiampour over to Gomal Hamidi. And right side, Ali Daei in possession. Good challenge. Got that opportunity at birth. Skipper again. Calmly done. 10 minutes of the first half remaining. If you are joining us a little late. Alan going well. Just a couple of opportunities really for the Iranians in the last few minutes, particularly the header by Karimi that went just wide. And a handball then by Mohammedi. And Ian Hart setting his run. He's got 3 in the box, and they've pulled 5 back, Iran. And Bagheri with the header away, which fell kindly. Green thinks about staying forward, but then remembers the priority of the night. Ball was out of play. Goalkeeper's ball. Madavikia, Kapiampour has made the run, cross him out to the right now. Back control initially in midfield, but some good battling, but in the end the Irish get possession. Karimi is the player caught. Minavand to Madavikia. Dai poised in the inside right position. Reza is up on the attack as well, pushing it around rather better now, Iran. But the final ball still eluding them. It's out of play. Linesman's flag is up on the far side. It's a goal kick. Dick Pat we're looking at. Plays for one of the local teams, Estakal. The player's sent off in Bahrain. And he was in danger of getting a 3rd match suspension. And Blažević went all the way to Zurich to plead with FIFA. Got him back in time for these 2 matches. Minavand available this side, wasn't used, now has to come back and try and make the challenge, which he does very well. They have got better in the latter stages of the half, Iran. Ranked 35th in the world to Ireland's 20th position. Minavand has got a knock in that challenge and is hobbling it on the near side. And not able to get to it. The final shot, pretty disappointing. Kapiampour will hit it. More shots, but only one that really looked like producing something. If they counted it, it actually went wide. And it was indeed a header. They're not separated on these statistics. Connolly and Keane trying to find some room in the middle. Hart. Forward run by Kinsella. Two in the middle now. Comes out to Finnan. Staunton. Breen. Confident on the halfway line, the 2 central defenders. A spell of possession here from the Irish. Kinsella. Neatly done, this is Kilban. More up for the cross this time. Well, they're just content with keeping the possession. Man went down, comes back to collect the ball. Aguirre. Minavand. Five across the field for Ireland. Not too many coming into the box. And it's away by Breen, the outside of his right boot. No whistle. Referee's some considerable distance away, and I would have thought that'll bring a free kick, even from the distance that he is. We're many miles away, but you can see it clearly from up here. And he's come nearest again, Karimi, but that had little to do with football in its purest sense. Beravani. Flag goes up a little late, but correctly. Nick Batty was caught. Zai. Into the last 2 minutes of the first half. Ireland's 2 goals, still standing between the two teams, scored in the first leg. Three forward and Madavicchia on the right, but the ball goes between Nick Batt and Madavicchia. Irish holding the line about 7 or 8 yards deeper than the centre circle. Cover by Breen. Manchester player who had a few problems on Saturday. So we'll put him behind him this evening. There's one moment when he lost Ali Daei. Captain got him behind there again. That's really well won by Matt Holland. Got an offside flag. No doubt about it. Trying to run along the line. Connolly. Deeper than at any previous stage. Hart. He wondered whether he was offside then, and he wasn't alone in that, but he was never going to catch the ball anyway. Inside the last minute. And 1 minute of added time to be played. Really well played by Breen. Watched the bounce with great care and had considerable confidence in his goalkeeper. Shea Given has come for it. Steve Staunton. Just a few more seconds wasted for the goal kick to be taken. And the assistant referee wants that taken again. Moving ball, I think. And the half-time whistle goes, and it's been a good half for the Republic of Ireland. Just the one near thing, really, from Karimi, a header that had Shay Given stretching, and I suspect fearing that he'd see the ball find the corner, but it didn't. For the rest of the half, the Irish have played the game at their pace and played it well. So at half-time in the Azadi Stadium in Tehran, it's Iran 0, the Republic of Ireland 0.
Not a thriller, but just what... but if you're
just
Irish...
what the doctor ordered.
It's a case bad is very good.
Yeah.
I mean, the game as a spectacle, it's absolutely chronic, a complete non-event, but the Irish have done the right thing. They've got men behind the ball at the right time. They've been competitive in the middle of the park, and they've held it up relatively well. The Iranians, what can you say about them? They've got nobody in the box. It's as though the Iranians are 2-0 up the way they're playing.
We're expecting more. You know, I was expecting the Iranians with the crowd have set up to really have a go, and they haven't. Little threat early doors, I thought, when Staunton and Breen pushed up, knocking a couple of balls in behind them. I think, you know, that's the little threat. That's the things they don't want to do. I think they've retreated back a little bit and had everything played in front of them, which is better. Karimi, or if that's the right pronunciation, he's missed a great chance with about 10 minutes to go, which would have brought the Iranians back into it. But they've done nothing. They've hardly got people into the box, and as I say, I've been disappointed by them. But not a great spectacle, but great for the Irish.
I think they just. I think the thing about the way Ireland are playing, Gary, is they're making Iran work extremely hard for the one and only chance that they got in the half, which is credit to themselves, and they've got themselves organised. They're proving difficult to play against, and it's just really like watching the qualification. This is exactly how Ireland have played, and while people might say it's dull and it's negative, it's not, because they're 2-0 up from the first game and another 45 minutes of this, and everybody's on the Guinness.
Including you.
The thing is, there's 120,000 people in there, right? The Irish are 2-0 up. The last thing you want is to be put under pressure, and they haven't done that.
Yeah.
There's no pressure whatsoever. It's been really, really comfortable.
In fact, the only pressure...
You'll never get a better
there was
half
just
than
one
that.
tiny little spell, wasn't there, when Given just dropped across a little bit?
Well, I got the wrong keeper that's saying he's going to come and flap at it, because under no pressure whatsoever, he's come out here. He should just handle that, and I think that he's very, very lucky, because
Pulled him back a
he
bit.
pulls him back.
No doubt.
That could have been a penalty kick. And then the sort of concentration, they get a bit uneasy after that, and then a really good chance comes. And he should have buried it.
Yeah, comes
David
in the
mentioned
box.
this.
Ali dive, flicks our, you know, muscles Steve Staunton out. Givens is in touching no man's land, and if that's on target, you know, that goes in.
It's a great chance.
It's a great chance. And it's come at an important time, because they haven't been playing well, and that would have given them a great lift.
If you're going to qualify for the World Cup, you've got to take those chances.
Yeah, I suppose the only negative you could say is that Ireland haven't created chances, and if they don't score, one goal from Iran and they're right back in it.
Yeah, but in saying that, I think then Iran have got to take chances in the second half. Take chances insofar as get people forward.
Well, you told me before the game. Sometimes play with
They
five
do,
up
honestly.
front.
Mick McCarthy went, and when he played the UAE, he said, honestly, they stuck 5 up front at one stage. You might see it.
If they're going to get back in this game, they've got to start
But
taking
they're
chances.
even just the general tempo of the game. They're just strolling. They're picking up, playing it, getting it back. As I say, if a team you're going to go there, the last thing you want to be is under pressure. And the Irish, for me, have been so comfortable, it's untrue, the first 45 minutes. And you talk about the crowd, 120,000 in there. If you give them something to shout about, then it puts opposition under pressure. But the Iranians, for me, again, you've just strolled a bit. All right, they're good technically, but if you're only playing with 1 up and 5, 6 back there, you're never going to score.
OK, well, I'll talk more on that in just a moment. But for the moment, now most of next year's World Cup finalists are now decided, including 4 more from the European section last night. Here's how they made it, starting with the Germans.
Now hands up all those who really thought...
Let me tell you, you're in trouble if that's your best bit of play in the first half.
You've probably attacked one of their national heroes.
Obviously.
Could be in big trouble. So Ireland go out more of the same, I
Play
suppose.
exactly the same.
They're,
exactly the
you know,
same.
they're in
So
the
the
driving
Iranians
seat.
that have got to change.
Do you think they're capable of changing? I mean, a goal changes everything, though, doesn't it? And that's
The coach obviously is going to be speaking. We've got to go and get something as early as possible. And as we said at the very start of the match, the first 20 minutes of this second half is going to decide many things. But one thing they've got to do is be more positive. If they're not that, they're not going to go to the World Cup finals or not have a chance of going.
Don't make mistakes. Don't make mistakes. If they're going to score a goal, make them work hard for it.
But that's the key, because they still then have to play through Ireland. And all right, we showed a couple of examples where they've got in behind. But that was only 2 in 45 minutes. And you know, we mentioned about the green shirts. Very, very quick to funnel back into midfield. Basically, the old 2 banks of 4, try and play through us, which they haven't done at the moment.
We want to be smiling in 45 minutes' time.
I think we will.
We certainly do. It's not long to wait. Here's Barry.
And so do Irish eyes, that's for sure. And I'm sure that Mick McCarthy, well, I'm not sure, but I think it might have been a useful line, has reminded his players that the Australians thought that they were through 4 years ago. They conceded 2 goals in the space of 14 minutes, and it all changed. In Italy, it was a slightly different situation. That was the second leg, and they went out on the away goals rule. But they need to keep their concentration all the way through this second 45 minutes, for which Ali Daei is a late arrival. Gary Breen with the beard. Away we go on the second half. No substitutions by either side. Really, they only had 1 attack of pace in the first half. Iran. And Mardavikia crossed on the run. The flag is up for offside. Minivan unable to supply the first cross of the second half. Irish, incidentally, if they manage to get to 17 matches without defeat, they will equal the record set by Jack Charlton's team in 88-90. If they score, and there's an opportunity here for Robbie Keane, and Connolly just away from him. If they score, they will break the record set back in the 50s of scoring in 17 consecutive matches. They've already scored in 17 now. One of those was a defeat. The last team to beat them were in fact the Scots. Is Karimi. A few shouts from the crowd. Referee unimpressed. Rather hasty clearance by Hart. And that'll bring a free kick. That challenge by Ali Daei brings the danger to an end. It's the first moment in the match when Hart seemed to be a little flurried, rather than when he was clattered in the middle of the field. Shea Given with the clearance. Kilban did well. Keane. He's done even better if he can get a cross in. Got 1 in the middle, 1 on the far side. He hasn't got the ball, but he'll get it now from the free kick, which Hart will trot forward to take. And a yellow card is shown to Mardavikia. Four in the box for the Irish, and sliced away for the corner as the goalkeeper thought about coming for it. And one set piece followed by another. Confirmation of the booking of Mardavikia. That's 4 again, and the goalkeeper can't get there cleanly. doing all the set pieces, including the throws. Kaviampur. Nicely done by Connolly. Kilban. A bit too long to make up his mind, to tell the truth. Here's Bagheri. Down the diagonal of all, looking for the skipper. But only really on one occasion has that come off. And as David O'Leary commented at half-time, only Dai shot with his weaker foot, and from an angle that was always against him anyway. Battling by Connolly. This is Kilban. Loses to Madavikia. Here's Kaviampur. Well, one in the middle of the field by Jason McAteer. Came a long way in to win that, and has used it well. This is Connolly. And it's back to McAteer, would have been, but for the header. This is by Rezai. Hart seeing a lot of the ball at the start of the second half. Back quickly to make the first challenge after the Irish lost possession. Kaviampur. Mohammadi to Rezai. Bagheri. Not given time to dwell. Dai, likewise. Crowd didn't like the challenge. Referee was beautifully placed and was quite happy about it. To hand it to Karimi, he took on 4 then. Didn't get the better of them. Madavikia. Karimi gets away, Given comes to meet him well, claims well, hands first, sliding in. Classic style. Don't all do that, rather than come with feet. Holland. Finnan. The open start to the second half and a little bit more pacey. It had to be after the first, really. Something chucked onto the pitch. Looks like a can of the local Coke. Makes a considerable contrast, and the match really has lived up to the sort of moments of iconoclasm that we've had in its build-up. Here's Ali Dai. And they're all waiting for it, and the final shot is wide, and the expressions say it all. It was a really good attack. They had men over. Karimi played it across, and it came right off the outside of the boot. Bagheri, the guilty party, and I'm grateful for the confirmation. It's frankly, from up here, I wasn't sure. When in doubt, say nout. Talking about contradictions, a yellow card is now being shown. Rather likes waving cards, the referee. I don't know whether that was to Keane or to Bagheri. They were the two nearest to him. By Pevara Ravani. This is Finnan. Well, amazingly not going out for either goal kick or corner, and the confirmation is that it was Robbie Keane who was booked, presumably for not letting Iran get on with things. Connolly! And it's side netting. Quickened the pace, made a good run across the box, was well fed, but the wrong side of the post. Connolly, who scored in his last match against Cyprus. And this was perhaps their best shooting opportunity of the match so far, but side netting. Offside. I think perhaps significant that Karimi is now playing very much further forward than he did for most of the first half. He was the player who had the chances on Saturday, and he's had one chance here which he didn't take. Away by Peiravani. No danger for Mirzapour. Good challenge. Jason McAteer. He's having a really good run in the Irish side, McAteer. Recently, of course, transferred to Sunderland. Manages to do that! Brilliant stuff from Shea Gibbon. Did really well with the length of the punch, but it came to Bagheri, then a good save, and then to get up and deny Ali Daei on his near post. Corner was taken. We didn't see the whole of the replay. Sorry about that. Maybe the local director will try to show it when things calm down a little. But Shea Gibbon living up to the man of the match verdict of last Saturday. Got away with one moment of doubt in the first half. Well, one and a half really, because he was not quite sure when Karimi ought to have scored. But look how well he did here. Pushed away with his right hand and then managed just to turn it away from Ali Daei. Better second half. That's not about the pace, all things are relative. Just to finish my point, if I ever can, about contrasts, people here certainly have been very much more friendly than one might have imagined, and it was quite a surprise to find a lot of school kids having trips to the palaces of the last two Shahs and being clearly proud of their history and wanting to draw people's attention to things. Said in some circles that they need the jewels to be seen to show that an awful lot of money was spent. Well, that didn't seem to be the reaction of the youngsters around me yesterday. Away by Staunton. Bagheri. That's a free kick. Against Robbie Keane, who needs to be a little bit careful. Managed to beat Holland with 10 men when Gary Kelly was sent off. Don't want to, at the end here, be a man short, that's for sure. Bagheri. Poor free kick. Didn't beat the first man on the edge of the 18-yard area. Better ball in, needing the touch from Hart. Kabiampour. Madavikia getting more men forward. Staunton invites him to go all the way back to get him, but actually Mirzapour comes out to save his team's legs. And there is greater pressure at the start of this second half. He had to backtrack a little bit there quickly, a pace back. Shea Gibbon. Madavikia. Kabiampour. Bagheri. Nobody coming in from the far side at all. And I suspect that Miroslav Blažević might want to know why. uses a full-time interpreter. Doesn't speak Farsi. Apparently the interpreter is making quite a reputation for himself because he uses all the actions as well. He's turning one language into another. Quite difficult, Blazovic, because he doesn't know whether a certain extraction is going on. So Mohammadi. Rezai. He's continued his run down the line, didn't get forward at all in the first half. Wasn't alone in that, not many Iranians did. Peravani. Game being played in the Irish half for most of this second half. Matt Holland plays it out, trying to find McAteer, and when he didn't, was quick to make sure that possession was kept. Connolly is down. No sympathy from the crowd for the Wimbledon player. Came to Wimbledon after playing a couple of clubs in Holland, previously with Watford and Wolves. Whacked away by Keane, helping out Steve Staunton. But back it comes. It's pretty well all one way. Had an hour of this second leg. Been away for 10 days. I should tell you that Ireland lead 2-0 from the first leg, which was last Saturday. See what I mean about the actions. Clear offside. Oh, it's an awful clearance by the goalkeeper. Maybe Waring wouldn't have even called it an up and under. Just went up. Just gives her an understanding of why he doesn't clear the dead ball goal kicks. Offside against Karimi. But he remains their greatest threat. I'm tempted to say they're one threat, but I think Ali Daei is also a bit of a threat. Mardovikia. Staunton denying the ball to find him again. Mardovikia. Hart. Nice little triangle. Finland. Oh, he's a bit lucky, because he got caught slightly in no man's land between two, but the ball wasn't very well played in behind him when it should have been. Gary Breen of Coventry finding space in Tehran. Good header by the Coventry man. Kilban. Nicely done by Kinsella. And also by Rezai, good defending. Kaviampour. Kilban quickly back to him. Kinsella chasing now. Mohammadi. Ali Daei. Dreadful cross by Minavon. Iranians twice in the World Cup finals, 78 and 98. Incidentally, their first ever match in international football was back in 1941. The result of the match was 0-0. The opponents were Afghanistan, and the match was played in Kabul. This country has a 900-mile border with Afghanistan. Karimi. No danger. Clearly offside. Connolly. Breen got it up as well as away. And he just had it taken off his toe by Matt Holland. Flag stays down. Another good save by Shay Given. Denies Minovan to hit that truly enough. Free weight in the middle. Slightly easier moment for Shay Given. Got down really well. Judged to have saved 2 shots in this half. Both extremely good saves. I think he should be credited with 3 because he also turned the ball away from Dai when the captain was too close, much too close for comfort. Hit on the up, parried away. And that was from a goalkeeper whose initial momentum was taking him forward, and then he got back, got his angles absolutely right. Kilban, 2 marked him and gave away quite needlessly a free kick. Just drunken faces down on the touchline. Hart to take the free kick. 2 in the box, 1 just outside. Now 3 in the box, but it's too strong. Madavicchia. Gary. It's a good ball. It's got in behind. Finnan can't make the challenge. And there was a bit of a wave from Shay Given as it went away. But the Irish defence wanting to keep well up the park, not wanting to be forced back deeper than they wish to go, as sometimes being caught out by the diagonal ball, and it's the wide man who gets in behind, and Staunton and Breen required to turn. And this has already been commented, they're not the quickest. Karimi. Given, and Dai, it's a goal kick. And Given complaining that he was bundled unfairly. He was sort of showing his thigh. Well, yes, the foot came down extremely harshly from Dai. Very telling little puff of the cheeks. Time ticks on every minute to Ireland's advantage. Use of the hand by Ali Daei. Reaction from still a rather quieter crowd than had been anticipated. Some crowds can lift teams, some need to be lifted by them. On this particular night, the latter seems to be the case in Iran. It's Irish flags being waved down in front of me and a drum being banged. Their confidence must be increasing too. One or two with doubts this morning. Breakfast stuck in a few throats, I think. Of course, they haven't had a drink since early Monday morning, if they drink that early. Well, I expect some do. Staunton battling strongly to get upside Karimi, and does so successfully. And the corner flag would appear to be on Ireland's side. Madavikia. Staunton away again. Way, way back. An attempt to test Shay Given's height, but no problem at all. Also, Desai tried it. Gol Mohammadi. The presence of Keane just forcing Gol Mohammadi just to put the ball out of play. Matt Holland's had a tidy game. This is Connolly. A free kick has been given. Flag is up. Free kick is through Iran. Really the big difference for Ireland with this playoff compared with playoffs in the past is the blank score sheet that was kept in Dublin. Sent them in with the confidence. This is Madavikia. That's a good turn, but no power on the header. And actually could have rolled out quite harmlessly for a goal kick, and I'm surprised that it wasn't allowed to do so. Apparently, if Shay Given shouted, he wasn't heard. Surely came off the Iranian captain. Instead, it's a corner. Beats everybody. Karimi. Yampur wasn't really ready, had to adjust his position, and indeed did Shay Given, but again, no finish from Iran. It's another corner. Played in short. Must be offside. Right on the goal line. Free kick given. At least a bit of variation shown there by Mr. Blazevic's side. Actually put out for the corner, the previous challenge. Knock on the head in the process. Connolly, too far forward. best of clearances from Gol Mohammadi. Fulham didn't realise that everybody had come back. On by Ali Daei. Time for Given and time for a substitution. That's Clinton Morrison of Crystal Palace on the touchline. Forward for a forward, presumably. An opportunity for the young men. 2 caps, 1 goal so far. Well, one again. Again, it was Holland. Kilban is unlucky. But, fight for himself. Karimi, deep again. Spent the first quarter of an hour and a half much further forward. It's a good run by Karimi, trying to commit somebody. No free kick. It's outside the box. Had there been an infringement, and I don't think there was. But he's useful, Karimi. He's signed a contract with Al Ahly of the United Arab Emirates. Says he wants to learn a bit more about the game before trying his luck in Europe. But a name to note, I think. And with 15 minutes to go, it's Robbie Keane who is withdrawn. Has a yellow card against his name, which may have helped in the decision. Certainly don't want to give anything away at the last quarter of an hour. Delighted Crystal Palace man comes on in his place. Scored on his debut against Croatia. Inside the last quarter of an hour. Karimi again gets his corner this time. Surely only last moment nerves can deny the Republic of Ireland now. Connolly did well. Kilban. Main job has been to make sure that Maravicchia doesn't bomb down the line. He only really bombed once. It's the only time he's shown us what he could do. Morrison to the ball first. Challenge from behind. And hurt, it would seem. It's a slightly unpleasant way to meet the new man. Peiravani was the chap who said, just to let you know I'm around. The referee has not let people come rushing on. I have to say that that's good to see. The referee's attitude has the right result because Mr. Morrison gets to his feet. Maravicchia. Oh dear, come on. Baghieri wasn't going to be able to get out of there. He's rolled over the line by his colleague, who presumably saw it as close as we did. He's got his free kick, but I don't think he was actually touched. Good clearing header again. Kaviampour, wrong side of the post. Really, they are not good enough to take their place among the finalists of the World Cup. I think McCarthy was asked yesterday about how much there was left in his team to develop, and his reply was, well, we're knocking on the door. If we get there, i.e. to the finals, we'll probably find out. They Impressed back in 1990, did so again in 94. And the telling sign. There's traffic all around the stadium. There's traffic in the city all the time, absolutely mind-boggling in the way that they drive, but this traffic is of people leaving, knowing that they've been watching a lost cause. Madavicchia. Good break, but now what's he going to do? And he squares it, and they still can't find the right foot. Ali Daei was waiting. Madavicchia played that well, all credit to him. But he couldn't find someone to finish what he'd started. Ali Daei was square. There were two others coming in from behind. It fell to an Irish foot behind Ali Daei before anybody else. Before Bagheri, I think, was the nearest could get to it. Second moment of good fortune in the match. One in either half. Karimi's header in the first half, and that opportunity in the second. Gavani looks for the long ball again, crossfield to Ali Daei, but to no purpose. Count is down to 10 minutes. 10 minutes away from a place in the World Cup finals of 2002. McCarthy has refused to talk to the Irish travel agent about plans, should they get through, hotels, should they get through. Not until we do so, he's told Ray Tracy, former player for West Bromwich Albion, among others. It's looking pretty likely he can do that tomorrow on the plane going home. Kinsler has done his job well. Picks out McAteer. Another substitution for Ireland. Gary Kelly of Leeds United to get into the act. Cut off the substitutions at this late stage of the game as he comes on to replace Kilban, designed to interrupt the rhythm of the opposition, but there hasn't been too much rhythm in this opposition. This time it's a defender for inferior forward, but Kilban's best work has been done just making a little bit of a hurdle down this near side. In the second half, and the far side obviously in the first half. A long way to run to get the ball away. Hart, his club colleague behind him, Kelly. Free kick given. There was no wave of the flag, but there's an infringement. The free kick is in favour, and Mick McCarthy just with the reminder. Not a little line so near and yet. 8 minutes remaining. What a good time this would be for an Ian Hart cracker. And Connolly in the end took it. Just took away a few more minutes. Little fires of something burning all around the stadium. There's the danger, but a sign of something for the home side. Certainly haven't been able to keep these home fires burning. Karimi battled away to his credit. But I'm using the word credit. Kinsella and Holland at the centre of the midfield have certainly done a job to the point when you just haven't noticed that Robbie Keane has missed this one. Haven't been as tested as might have been thought, but even so, done a tidy job. Given comes for it, gets the punch in. It's back quickly in his goal. Got a man offside at the moment. Maravika though plays it back. Kaviampour, Ali Daei. Not the best of touches from the captain. Asian Footballer of the Year a couple of years ago. We haven't seen that sort of form in either leg of this playoff. A little over 5 minutes. Free kick has been given. Nick Bat, a few firecrackers going off. And the card shown to McAteer. And a few things being hurled onto the pitch. And they seem to be burning their programs, the local people. Programs that had words of hope, which have not been realised. Their whole evening really summed up by that free kick. He is capable of far better than that, Ali Daei. The better players have rarely shown, although none has worked harder than Karimi. Morrison held it up nicely. That's a foul by Bagheri, who has the temerity to complain that Hart dived. Remember that a few moments ago. Bagheri this time is shown the card. Well, he did make a little bit more of it than he might, but there was a catch of the foot, I thought. But he who lives by the sword, etc. Hart to take, there's two players in the box. Holland. Down to 4 minutes between the Republic of Ireland and the confirmation of what has seemed a certainty for an awful long time. Haven't given Mirzapour much to do. But that wasn't the object of the exercise. The object of the exercise was to prevent the opposition turning a 2-0 deficit into a victory which would have taken them to the finals. Good possession play again. Kinsella. Connolly done his job well. Kelly to Hart. 3 minutes on the stopwatch plus stoppage time. Kelly. Shay Given deserves the clean sheet. The saves in the second half. Coming to claim it now. Left by Finnan. Taking his time. Stadium emptying. And in the foreground, people backing away, in part because things are being held from the top level, but there are plenty of gaps up there as well. You don't have to bus people in to watch football in this country, although they do sometimes use football afterwards for political demonstrations down in the city. I wonder what they'll have to say about this man, because everybody blames the coach, but his team really just haven't played well enough to justify a place. Thought they should have qualified by right, but losing in Bahrain ended that, set themselves up for a second chance, but it's been clearly taken away by a far better team. who are now 2 minutes away, have a 2-goal advantage. And they're looking forward to new memories of playing in World Cup finals. Certainly left enough in Italy and in the United States. Not the best of back passes by Finnan. 3-0 flag is still there to my left, but it looks a bit bedraggled and you can't read it clearly. Mick McCarthy's side have done what they set out to do. I said how
are you going to follow Jack Charlton? And you know, he's missed out. He's been, you know, the dividing line being a good manager is so thin, really, and he's had a couple of playoffs and been cruelly beaten. I thought when the draw was made for this competition that the best he could hope for is a playoff, but I didn't think he'd get that.
Because it was brilliant to get in the playoff.
Yeah, when you look at the squad of Holland there, I mean, it's a disgrace there, not there really with the and you look what Mick has to pick from. No disrespect to him, he's gelled them together. They've worked very hard for each other, and they're a team that needs to play for each other, and they've done fantastic there tonight.
Mark's smiling.
Victor. And the other thing, 12 games, Gary, including these two against Iran. They've only lost one, which was that in the very, very last minute. And David's hit the nail on the head that the teamwork and the way, you know, they're not blessed with outstanding players, and that's not being disrespectful. You know, they're missing a world-class player today, Roy Keane. They've got some good players who work extremely hard, both for themselves, both for the team. Everybody who's come in has worked very, very hard, and they've generally had no weaknesses. And you look, you know, you cast your mind back to some of the results. Holland at home, 1-0. Centre-back pairing of Staunton and Dunn, everybody laughed, saying they're going to get absolutely annihilated by the Dutch, and the Dutch never really looked like scoring against them eventually. And they've just been outstanding in every department with what they've got. That's why it makes it such a good triumph.
What you can achieve with hard work and team spirit.
Exactly.
You know, you see two lads there, Kinsella and Holland.
Yeah,
you know, great. Yeah, to me they didn't, you know, stand out, but they've gone and worked. They've tracked players, closed people down. Connolly up front, who's, you know, though disrespect, he's not the greatest centre forward in the world, but he was a nuisance there. And you know, to finish off a good performance, he had a great chance to score.
Shame in a way, they lost the game.
They had defended so well. I mean, when you look at the back four and the personnel they've got in the back four, you'd have question marks against them. But I thought they defended excellently. Just go a bit to Steve. I think it's a good header, good ball, and difficult to defend against, and it's a good header.
I mean, Steve has got a little bit
underneath
flat there, a bit flat, but you know, as I say, he's done really well. They've defended well. I thought the officials done well. I was a bit worried with a Costa Rican referee going to a place like that, and I thought they'd done well. And they played defensively. They were sound. They didn't get caught being exposed, pushing up at the halfway line.
They made Iran look very, very ordinary today.
Well, I'm glad they didn't score, you know, 10 minutes earlier. It would have got a bit sweaty.
It was all part of the plan.
But for Shea Given, they might well have done. I mean,
he's allowed to save it, though, isn't he? I mean, he's a goalkeeper, so there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's done well. See it here. As I say, the fella, great left foot shot and a strong right hand.
And he gets up quickly as well.
Gets up and goes and does it again. Tremendous.
Gary couldn't get in the team about a year ago. We were talking about players coming in. You know, Kelly was a goalkeeper at that time, and he's got him obviously on his performances.
Good save.
More straightforward that one.
More straightforward.
The
biggest thing today was that Mick McCarthy would have said to them, be together. Be together as a team, and that's exactly what they did right from the word go.
And the four in front of the back four, you know, were excellent. Give them great cover, and that solid 8 in front of Given was excellent. And the two lads up front, even though Robbie Keane got taken off, I thought the two of them played really well.
It's probably not quite the moment. You want to enjoy the fact you qualify for the World Cup, but how well can Ireland do? Can they do as well as they did in Italia 90?
I don't think
Unlikely.
so. I don't think so.
Team spirit can get you so far, but when you go to the very highest level, then you've got to have quality. And basically, I know it's been harsh, but they just haven't got the quality to get there.
Yeah, but hold on, there's more teams. Don't forget. So there are more teams, so it does give them a better. There's one thing about them is you wouldn't like to play against them because they're horrible to play against because they don't let you play.
And can Japan cater for 30,000 mad Irishmen going over there?
That's the first week.
But
I'm glad you said mad Irishmen.
Now, one thing they'll do, I think they'll bring with that green and white and the colour and those great fans, they'll bring a great atmosphere to the World Cup, and it's great to have them there. And I think, as I say, they won't let the country down. They'll do the best on the pitch, and the fans off will do the country proud as well.
OK, let's hear from Mick McCarthy, the man himself. He's with Stephen Alkin.
Well, Mick, how do you put this into words? Is it possible?
No, not really. No, not yet. I'm not. I might articulate it better tomorrow, later, when I'm not as emotional.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of tear in your eye, an unusual thing that from Mick McCarthy.
Hard man's gone soft there. What do you expect? We've worked a long time. Wonderful group of players, fabulous staff. I think they deserve it. They deserve it as much, if not more, than me.
You've been to Turkey, so you've seen a hostile atmosphere before, but I have never seen anything like the second half. It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's great to see them doing that, isn't it? Because it means we're through. They'd probably be treating us a lot better if we hadn't. So, hey, you have to put up with things like that. What a wonderful, wonderful campaign, and I can look forward to Japan now.
And who cares if we lost, because we're through. It's 2-1 in aggregate. That's all that the record books will show.
I'm bothered we lost. I don't like that, but anyway, I'm being a bit hard on myself and the team. We're through. Brilliant.
What about some of your players? I thought Steve Staunton as captain was magnificent tonight, and also Shay Given over 2 legs.
Magnificent, but, you know, credit to all the players. The way they've worked, the way they've stuck at it. And I'm not having a pop at you fellas, all of them. A lot of them had a lot of stick, you know. Steve Staunton especially, Jason McAteer, Dave Connolly, who I thought was magnificent tonight. And they've come through and they've been superb. For me, for themselves, I'm delighted for them, their families, and
We've cut out from that interview there. It's never a good sign when you see yourself on the monitor. But,
always dangerous.
Yeah.
When you talk about team spirit and teamwork and the way they play for each other and the way they gel and the hard work, you're only talking about the manager. And he's done it all. Magnificent achievement.
And a very difficult job as well. We remember following Jack Charlton as well, and it's taken
Gary,
time.
And this job nowadays, people jump on your back very quickly. And halfway through this campaign, where they were playing good teams in a very strong group, people were starting to give them stick. The manager getting out and that. And the only way to answer those people is not then, store it, remember it, put it in your book, and answer them the way he has tonight.
And qualify for probably the most difficult group.
Then go and look at these people and just look and say.
But I think in Ireland's case, Gary, as well, is that they've managed to transmit what you can get in terms of club spirit into international spirit, and I think that is really, really difficult. But that's generally as much as the manager.
Yeah, he did.
They've always been a Irish trait.
OK, gents, I'm afraid we've run out of time. But Ireland are off to Japan and Korea. Saki and Guinness, what a mix. Goodbye.